Hello guys. So I've been asked exactly what does one look for in the scout. So for any of you who don't know, the scout is in the top right when you click on the GP value. So the very first thing you need to know, irrelevant of your rank, is you always want to get the 5 GP penguin when you know you're close to the reset or the end of the day, because it's very cheap and it's a great value because there's an achievement who's going to give you back 100 GP for 20 purchases, and basically 20 times 5 equals 100, meaning they're all going to be free. Now, of course, if you buy a player something you wanted, it's even going to add to that number, meaning you made profit. So that's what you're going to do first. So just do a small reroll. So this is how you check if you got anything better. Now, what you're going to look at when you're doing this is at the very beginning of the game, you're going to be looking at getting any goalkeeper, any player that would make sense for your team that you want based on your legend. I would usually say wait for your legend before scouting them, but if there's someone you really want, just do it. And we're going to talk about 1 or 2 specific managers you want. At the beginning of the game, you're really going to be pushed towards getting this manager called Marineko. The reason for that is because she can give you some free 1 to 4-star spirit stones, who's just a great generation at the beginning of the game, because before you even know who you want, she's going to be able to fill your entire inventory with stones that will be great for later on. Now, you will also want to try get at all points in time a player called Lucy, because she's going to be able to give you a bonus stat, and she has the lowest drop rate of all managers in Scout. She has a specifically smaller drop rate. Other players you will also be interested in getting at the beginning are also going to include Peril, because she's going to be able to give you an extra card. And if we're looking at the trainer, there used to be in this slot Samuel, but she's gone. So if you can, just try get Geralt. It's pretty nice. Now, when you're more mid-game, when you've started getting your team, you've at least got a copy of all the players you want. What you're more going to try to do is get some extra copies. What I mean by copies, I mean dupes. For example, imagining I already have a Hercules, I'll get an extra Hercules, because when you feed a player itself, it's going to become more powerful. Now, of course, when we're talking about dupes, I don't think I need to insist on this, but you know that you need all the special gatekeepers. The only one that starts losing value more as the game progresses currently is the Kuma. The Mera used to also be part of that, but with 7-star, I doubt you're going to be losing any value anytime soon. Now, the difference basically between the first, the second, and the third level of the game, and I mean 1 to 30, 30 to 70, and 70 and above, is basically what you're going to think of the gatekeepers and which managers you're going to be going towards. Because every few levels, you're going to be able to unlock a new slot. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure this one's at 30, this one at 70, this one at 100. So it really is going to depend exactly where you are at this point of the game. But you're going to want to get the sponsor one as soon as possible, because you know it's around 30 for that one. So Peril, Lucy is just great. Do not waste your time scouting 4-star or 3-star managers unless you've gone to a certain point where you can generate enough GP. On the scouters, having an extra Ingram is really nice. You can get some other managers later on, but they're all pretty cool. The only useful one, I would say, is going to be Sigmund, but he's going to be when you use crystals for strength during some special events. One of the great things in this game is to be running some strength reduction. It can be capped out at 50%, meaning the cost of a match is going to be half. Now, for that, you're going to need Ingram. You're going to need to switch out Geralt after using his active and Ingram's active for Hansel, and then you're going to have in the second slot, you're going to be running Anastella. So with all of those, in my case, I haven't finished maxing them out, but I'm already able to run the 10 strength minion match for 6, who's pretty cool. Now, the new thing you can do endgame, who's really nice, is they've lowered actually the level of stones since they lowered them to 4-star. That also means there's a pretty decent chance you're gonna find the 4-star stones you want. There are certain stones that you should always try to scout if you can. Those would be light reflex, red reflex, and thunder defense if you don't already have one. Those stones are just really great. Also, and/or crit damage depending on your striker is also nice. Why? Because this would only cost now around 460 GP when it used to cost around 900. So it's cheap enough for me to honestly say, go get the dupe, choose the stone you want. It won't actually show you the passives, but it's just pretty nice. As for example, if I click here, they won't show me the passives, but when I have it in inventory, I will see them. So this is mainly what you're going to be aiming for with the scout, and it's not really that complicated in a way, but it's just going to take a little bit of time for you to get used to it, and the more you advance, the more you can do it. Again, at the beginning, if you feel you're missing something, a player, a rainbow, a black hole, a gatekeeper, just go for it. You're slowly going to get the GP, but it's usually going to be fine. If there is a specific player you want and you don't have him, try to save at least 1,600 GP. Always have that on the side so the day he appears, you can get him. And on top of it, it's always a good practice to have that much in case you have that lucky legend. In my case, I don't actually do that, but if I need GP, it's because I can just throw a huge amount of crystals. So it's not that big a deal, but there's very few things I actually want anymore, so Scout isn't that big a deal for me. Now, the thing you want to know about Scout is irrelevant of your point in game, you're going to want it. So you're also going to be pointing towards doing a long chain in the leagues. When I mean by league, I mean the Galaxy Arena, especially early on in the game. That's why people don't power level. You can do some Coliseum matches, and majority of minion matches are good for this. We're currently in the Android match, who is considered the best GP and gold generating minion match in game. So I hope this answers any question, and if you have any more questions, just write them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Have a good day, guys.